So, alright. Let's see. Let me see. How's the audio balance, everybody? Let me know. Let me know how the audio balance is. And I had something fall off my shelf over here a second ago. It hit me in the face, so I got like a little red spot right here. So never mind that. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Look, we are going to get like right into it. We're going to get right into this, okay? So there's a lot going on in that trailer, and not just when I say we called it, I'm not talking about we're getting Sephiroth's origin story. No, that was blatantly obvious from the start. We're going to get the Wu-Tai stuff. You can't tell Sephiroth's origin story without telling the Wu-Tai stuff, right? In the opening of this trailer, Sephiroth is talking about the flow of the live stream and the flow and all this other kind of, how it's memories and everything flowing in and out from each other. And, I think that is the remake saga, Sephiroth talking over it. Almost like he's reminiscing, right? And I told y'all we're getting right into it. I have made no bones about the fact that I am not on the Ever Crisis hype train until I've seen the recent stuff. Now I'm going to play it. I am absolutely going to play this game when it drops next week. I was going to play it anyway. It wasn't on my radar, but now it is on my radar. That was an excellent trailer. I really dug it. I didn't do a reaction video because who gives a shit, right? I mean, I'm not trying to do reaction videos and stuff anymore because it's like people don't like your reaction videos unless you're acting like a circus animal jumping in your chair and stuff like that. And I keep shit real. I'm not some fake asshole. I'm not going to be doing that stuff. I told y'all we're not pulling no punches no more. I'll just tell you how it is. So, but that trailer was awesome. That trailer was really awesome. And not only that, there's a lot in it. I also speculated that the team from the first Soldier, those characters, I felt like that was going to be Sephiroth's team in the Wu-Tai War. I felt like that was going to be the case, like their soldier candidate. I felt like that was going to be the case. And because Genesis is going to be in it. That's something else I'm getting. That's something else I was going to get to. There was a part in the trailer, and I might pull the trailer up here in a second, where I felt like it was Genesis talking. There was a part in the trailer where I felt like Genesis was talking. It almost felt like you're seeing the past and everything, but I felt like a part of the narration stopped being Sephiroth and started being Genesis. I felt like it was Sephiroth and Genesis having a conversation leading up to where things are at now. So, not only did we call, and by we, I mean here on the channel, I discussed my theories and a lot of you agreed with me on it. So, called this being a Sephiroth origin story. Everybody knew that. That was child's play. A 5-year-old could have told you that, right? A 5-year-old with a base working knowledge of Final Fantasy VII could tell you that this was going to be a Sephiroth origin story. It was going to be a big part of it. Ever Crisis was going to be, and it is. So, now, why is it called Ever Crisis? Because this is going to answer questions about what is going on in the remake saga. Now, and we also called the team, right? The little team being Sephiroth's crew, like Sephiroth's incursion team or whatever you want to call it into Wu-Tai. We called getting him in Godo. Now, I'm not sure that's Godo at the end of the trailer. I think it's one of his subordinates that you fight in the pagoda, the 5-level pagoda in 7 and Wu Tai. It's one of them because that character seems too young to have a 16-year-old child in current Final Fantasy VII. I might be wrong about that. That might be Godo. They just portrayed him very young. So we get Godo or one of his subordinates at the end of it. So we're going to get the showdown with Sephiroth and Godo. We're going to get that. And we're going to see Sephiroth get the Masamune. Because I don't think that's the Masamune he's got in the trailer. That's definitely not the Masamune he has in the trailer. That ain't it. So we're going to see him getting that from Wu Tai. So those were the big 4 things that I called. Bam, 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 bam. If you count Genesis coming, that's 5. Bam, 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 bam. We called all of it. The trailer confirmed all of it. So Bob's your uncle. Now, here's the cool thing about all this. It showed Zack. It showed Crisis Core. We're going to get all the characters from that. And eventually we're going to get Dirge of Cerberus. I think right now, I think this is a great time to drop the First Soldier, because it's going to be First Soldier, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII. It's a great time to drop those parts of Ever Crisis, because we're getting ready to go into Rebirth, right? Rebirth is coming out. They say this winter, winter 2023, but I still think it's going to be like between February and April, like I've been calling, somewhere in that time span. Now, when they introduce the characters, the big reveal characters, I think Genesis will be a big reveal character in Rebirth. I think we got a long way to go. There might be some other stuff we don't know, but then you introduce like Dirge of Cerberus, like after you hold Dirge of Cerberus for after Rebirth, and then you can drop the Dirge of Cerberus chapters or whatever, because that's heavily focused on Vincent. We will have already seen Vincent in Rebirth, and we will have already seen Genesis in Rebirth. So then you can drop Dirge of Cerberus. And I think we're going to get some kind of clue as to what that after credits scene in Dirge of Cerberus was all about. Who he was addressing, what he was talking about, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, this trailer was chocked full. It was chocked full. And I am like, yeah, I'm super stoked. Now, I'm not going to buy all the costumes and all that dumb shit for Ever Crisis, but I am going to play it to see what the story beats are. I am going to do that. So I'm going to play it on my iPad, not playing on the phone. The phone is for business. This is for business. It's not for gaming. I'm not trying to be blind at 40 playing these games on a phone, but I will play it on my iPad. I've got an iPad Pro, so apparently it runs really good on that. So I'm really excited. The trailer was dope. The trailer gave us a lot. And it's interesting that they dropped those white feathers with Sephiroth. It's, of course he doesn't have the black feathers yet. It's just symbolic. It's just showing that, hey, he's actually a really good dude at this point in the story. It's all symbolism. What does the white feathers mean? It's symbolic. Not everything is literal. Some of y'all need to get off the feather thing. It's symbolism. But, because obviously Sephiroth doesn't have wings or feathers at this point in the story. So I've already seen people saying, well, I guess Sephiroth has a white wing at this point in the story. No, dipshit. He doesn't have a wing yet. It's called artistry. It's called symbolism. Now, Sephiroth will not be redeemed. He should not be redeemed. He should. The reason Sephiroth is so cool is because he's such a badass fucking villain. He is a dope ass fucking villain, man. I don't want to see violins and send-offs and hearts and everything for him at the end. No, I want him to die at the hands of Cloud Strife, the hero of the story. I don't want to see. I know Sephiroth's got a big fan base out there. I get it. I understand. I'm a part of it, but I'm a part of the fan base because he's such an excellent villain. He's such an excellent villain. I think it really just waters down the character and the legacy of the character if you just redeem him and he goes off to live stream heaven at the end of it and all that kind of stuff. So no, hell no. You kill that guy. He's not trying to get his humanity back. I hope not. I hope not. But anyway, that's just my take on that. But yeah, what's up, Pipe Belly? What's up, everybody joining in? I know it's a weird midday stream. I was going to do a video for this today, and I was like, I'll just do a live stream. I saw that trailer earlier, and I was editing down a couple of videos, and it was actually prediction stuff for Ever Crisis. And I scrapped both videos, and I was like, everything I was going to talk about in these videos that I was shooting, they just confirmed in this trailer. So, you know, if I'd put that video out, it would have looked like, well, Ray saw the trailer. He just made this prediction video based on that. No, that's why I didn't finish it. But yeah, so yeah, well, I'm actually working too. I was in here working on some animation stuff and some Pitch Bible stuff and a couple of other deals. I'm working on a new sizzle reel for a few things. So, but yeah, that dropped. But yeah, so I'll throw it out there to you all. What do you all think? What do you think? Was there something in this trailer I missed and didn't talk about? The other cool thing about this trailer is just the gameplay of it. You know, when the first soldier team, and you'll have to forgive me for, I don't know their names. I don't know their names. I don't give a shit about those characters. I don't know their names. Glenn is the blonde one, I think. And then I just don't know after that. But there was a shot of them running on the beach, right? And then also the shot of them running away from the sea monster in the boat. It really harkened back in the best way. It put a big smile on my face. It really harkened back to that PS1 era of JRPGs. It really made me feel good. It was like super nostalgic. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait to play this, you know, because it just feels like an old school RPG. And that PS1 era, the golden age of the JRPG. And yes, I say JRPG because that is the gold standard. That is, to just say RPG is like lumping them all together. They're not lumped all together. Japan makes the best role-playing games from that era. Period. Conversation over. They were responsible for the golden age, so it is a JRPG. So, it's a symbol of excellence. Yeah, well, they're going spin-off crazy with it, Pipe Belly, for sure. So I think that's something to look forward to, and I also think that I'm interested to see kind of how all these games play out. I'm really interested to see how Dirge of Cerberus is going to play out. If they're going to make it a deal where they rewrite the story a little bit with Dirge of Cerberus, where like they add a couple of people to his party and it's a turn-based kind of game. You know what I mean? Instead of a shooter. Like, because I don't think they're going to do that. Cicely will probably be back in Ever Crisis. Like, I almost feel certain we're going to see her in Ever Crisis. I really do. And we'll probably see her in... excuse me. We'll probably see her in Rebirth. But as an aside type character, maybe as a quest giver, or maybe, yeah, I could see her being a quest giver. And I hope the side quests are better in Rebirth, because from what I am hearing from a few people that are kind of close to the project, this game is massive. This game is going to be massive. Massive. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people by how big it is, based solely on what I'm hearing. I haven't seen anything, I haven't experienced anything, but based on what I've heard, it is going to be a massive, massive game. And it should be, because they've been working on this game for a while. They've been working on it for the better part of 4 years. I think here, like November, it will officially be 4 years they've been working on it. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what they do, where they go with it, and what implications the Ever Crisis is going to have. And help not on... I don't think you're going to have to play Ever Crisis to know what's going on in the main plot of the remake saga. But I do believe it will give us a better understanding of what is going on. So hear me out. Like, I think we're going to get some... We've already seen we're going to get some narration bits from Sephiroth, and who I think might also be Genesis in the trailer. We're going to get some narration bits as we're playing through the game. And I think that might be a way that they deliver part of the narrative to us, if we choose to play it. If you don't choose to play it, the main games will hopefully give you a rougher understanding of what's going on. But to completely understand what's going on, even for the little bits of story and stuff in the game that you don't need to necessarily know what's going on, I think if you play through Ever Crisis, it's going to answer those questions for you. That is a great way to do this. Like, everybody keeps telling me, Ray, you didn't read the books. Ray, you didn't read... I'm like, I shouldn't have to fucking read the books to get what's going on in the story. They should just be able to tell you in the game the main thing that's happening in the story. Now, if there are sub small plots and things that I want to understand that I don't need to understand for the main story, and I can get those answers by playing another game, well, that's cool. For me, that's an acceptable way of like multimedia storytelling. But to have to buy a book and to have to sacrifice more of your time, and I don't have a whole lot of time. I've got Sea of Stars sitting on my system right now. I've been looking forward to this game for a year. And I don't have time to play it right now. I'm going to have to crunch it in this weekend a little bit. I'm too busy, you know. But this Ever Crisis, if they're doing that, if they're using it as a narrative vehicle to tell more of the chunks of the story that will help you have a broader understanding of what is actually happening within the story, then I think that's cool. I think that's cool. Now, let's not mistake what this is. It's a cash grab. It's a gotcha, you know, for Square Enix to make more money. But I'm not buying all the armor, all the clothing upgrades, and all that bullshit. I'm just gonna play through the game. Yeah, Mark. Well, that's what everybody's telling me. They're like, one guy commented on my thing. He like put a comment on one of my videos recently while I was down for a month. You know, he was like, "Well, it's pretty obvious you don't read the supplemental material." Like everybody's going to Harvard and getting some kind of degree for doing this shit. I'm like, no, I haven't read it. I ain't got time to read it. I got grown man shit to do. But I love Final Fantasy VII. I'm a massive fan of this game, and you know, it's funny when people say stuff like that, because I'm like, man, people come at you. Yeah, exactly. The story bits are free. That's the thing. It's like, to play through the game is free, and that's really cool. I'm glad they did that. I was afraid they were going to charge per chapter or make it like a games as a service kind of thing, like Final Fantasy 14 is, like where you got to pay so much to keep playing it or whatever. But they're not doing that. Like, you're going to be able to just play it and get it and go through it. So, right, yeah. Every time a blonde guy pops up, it's like everybody wants to think that Cloud's either related to them or it's his father or something like that. I think I did that video where I speculated on a couple of different theories I had about Cloud's dad or whatever. But ultimately, in the end, I think it should just remain a mystery. Because I don't think it's important. I really don't think it's important to the story to know who Cloud's dad is. To dedicate 2 hours of a subplot of the gameplay time to figuring out who Cloud's dad is. I just don't think that's necessary. It has nothing to do with what's going on in the main story. Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Phantom. It's like I don't think you're going to have to know these things to eventually get the answers in the game. I think this will just put you a little bit ahead of the game and maybe answer some questions to some sub characters and some subplots and things like that. It's not going to tie those things up, but it's going to give you a better understanding of it. Everybody keeps. I've seen the President Shinra is Cloud's dad theory floating around since everybody finished playing a remake. I don't know. I just think that's kind of weird. I'm sure President Shinra has a lot of illegitimate children out there. So I'm not saying that's not possible. But a lot of people have a claim to the throne, so to speak. Bunch of Jon Snows in the Final Fantasy VII world. But yeah, no, I don't think that's going to be pertinent to understanding the plot of the game. The gameplay looks very interesting though. Like, it's going to be weird. Like, I might get one of those little controllers to hook up to my iPad, but we'll see. Dead dad is a must in storytelling. Well, the thing about the dead parents in a story is it paints the hero into a corner, because our parents are supposed to be the people who get us ready to leave the nest, and when we're finally ready to leave, we're armed with all the knowledge and stuff to be our parents 2.0. So when you remove that from a story, it's like the hero is truly flying blind. And I think that's why that's just a massive trope in storytelling. Like, these days, it's either the mom or the dad or something, like they're raising a single parent kind of like facilitation. And like, I know Naruto didn't have either one of his parents. Ichigo doesn't have his mom. Luffy doesn't have his parents. Luke Skywalker, well, his dad's around. He doesn't have his mom though. And then Cloud, of course, he lost his mom when he was youngish, never knew his dad. And there's lots of characters like that in fiction. Yeah, and if they reveal Cloud's dad, that almost would have to be like a whole game in itself. And otherwise it would feel like an afterthought, and it's a big deal. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing, right? So like, if you reveal Cloud's dad and it doesn't get like a huge segment of story, it's going to like, well, it's going to go over like a fart in church, and they're going to be like, well, that didn't have the pomp and circumstance that it needed. And if it did get a whole chunk of story and everything, the other side of the fence is going to be like, well, that took way too much time. That wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary to know who Cloud's dad is. This is just fan service. And that's the side of the fence that I fall on, to be honest. No, Genesis, they weren't his real parents. They were adopted parents, though, right? They were his adopted parents, I believe. And, if Glenn is still around, in the current remake storyline, they have to have a scene where Marl sees Glenn and she's like, oh, it's Frog. Because all the Chrono Trigger characters are reincarnated in the Final Fantasy VII remake world. Marl, Tifa's landlady, is just Marley from Chrono Trigger, and her and Chrono went crazy with the time travel, and she wound up in the Final Fantasy VII world, which is probably like hundreds of years in the future of that world, and she got stuck there, and now she's just been there forever. I didn't see that, David. What's the date on it? No, there's not two Sephiroths. There's only one. Sorry, I'm looking up this Best Buy thing. Huh. Let's see here. Rating pending. Pre-order. No pre-order date. It's just a bunch of screenshots from the last trailer. So yeah, it means nothing. It means nothing. Yeah, restrictors were the people that ran Deep Ground. They're like the 13th or 14th Soldier Division. They ran Deep Ground before Vice and the crew took over. Basically came through and kicked them out or whatever. So restrictors are very, very deep dive lore stuff. I think they were only like even seen in like a part of Dirge of Cerberus. What part of Dirge of Cerberus was it? Was it that weird wonky Japanese online thing for Dirge of Cerberus? Yeah, it's such a deep dive. I don't even think they're gonna use it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when they did the Summer Games Fest trailer, after that, I was like, yeah, next time we see anything for Rebirth is going to be Tokyo Game Show, and it's going to be the release date trailer. Boom. I'm telling y'all, tune in. Open your ears up. Listen up. Your boy's here for you. Now, I didn't think that it was going to be at Summer Games Fest. I didn't think... I was on the fence. I was super on the fence about it. But it did show up, and I thought that was a really cool surprise. So that was good. The Dirge side Yeah. yeah, it was like a weird aside from Dirge of Cerberus. Kind of like... think Zero Division from... Bleach is kind of like what they were, you know. They were kind of like supposed to be badass and awesome, but really kind of sucked. So, over under on the release date. Well, I've been very public as saying I think it's going to be between February and April 2024. I wholeheartedly feel like that's what. If it comes sooner, oh man, I'll be super happy to be incorrect on that. But yeah, I think it's going to be February to March or February to April, somewhere around in that area. Now you're not late, Ace. You're right on time. A wizard is never late. They arrive precisely when they mean to. So yeah, I think we're about 6 to 8 months away from Rebirth. I know it sounds like a lot, but it was just February, and that was 6 months ago. Like, this year just flew by. Just absolutely just, like, tanked on down the road. It's, like, crazy how fast the summer flew by. And I'm glad, because I fucking hate summer. Like, it's way too hot, muggy, gross. Like, let's go outside and have some fun. Oh, you mean in November? Because it's way too hot for that right now. Summer fun should be called summer torture. And my allergies, like, I'm taking allergy shots now. So last year I got sick a lot, and it was complications from my allergies and sinus infections and all this kind of stuff. So I'm on allergy shots now. So I am not trying to fall into that hole again. No, I don't think so, Pipe Belly, because like the people that hate remake just they hate it on a fundamental level, like that it's going in and gutting things and changing things and kind of subverting things a little bit. So I mean, I get why they don't like it. I get why they hate it because like Square Enix, look, I don't want to get into a hot button topic, but I have this conversation once every two. I had a guy stop me in Walmart that watches my channel and wanted to have a discussion about why Square Enix lied to everybody. I was like, bro, I'm trying to get some chicken to cook and trying to get some Diet Cokes, man. I got to rock. I got to get back. A dude stopped me in Walmart and wanted to have a conversation about this. Just a random employee, you know. But like, no, I think the people that disliked Remake felt like they were lied to and misdirected by Square Enix. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Because up until release, up until that last trailer came out that showed Zack surviving and everything, and some YouTubers and people who got advanced copies and finished the game early, that's where all that came from. Because Square Enix only showed the highlights that were remade from the original game, right? With a few tweaks and stuff here and there. But they didn't allude to Chapter 18, the ending. They didn't allude to any of that stuff. It was called Final Fantasy VII Remake forever. So people felt like they were lied to. So no matter what they do in these games. Now those people are probably going to play the games low key. Like I have no doubt in my mind that 90% of those people have said they aren't going to touch the game. They're going to play all of it low key, right? They're going to play all of it just super low key, not tell anybody. But I don't think anything is going to change their mind on it. They may enjoy it, but they're still going to have a speck in their eye on it, if you know what I mean. So, good question, but I don't think, Pipe Belly, anything is going to change those people's minds. What area of the country am I in? The Southeast. Hot as hell. I don't know the person. No, I know Glenn, and that's like it. That's the only person I can remember. The girl's name starts with an L. I think the other guy's name starts with a T or something like that. Right. Well, yeah, in the marketing, they never came out and said, this is the remake purists wanted. They said it's another possibility for a remake. Now, I'm thinking when they say another possibility for a remake, like, is this going to be, like, slightly off the rails and slightly a little bit different and all that kind of stuff, you know? While we're getting the narration from current remake saga Sephiroth in the trailer. That's who's talking at the beginning of that trailer. It's current remake Sephiroth talking. And either at one point in the trailer his tone shifts or it's a different character. And I think if it's a different character, I think it's Genesis. Or it could just be the actor shifting his tone slightly. So, yeah, this is going to be super lore expansion. That's what they're doing. And like I said earlier, it's a way that if you play through it and you want to take the time to explore it, your reward will be a greater understanding of what is going on in the current remake saga, their current AAA endeavor that they're doing right now. So, and which also makes sense why they made it available on mobile platforms and free, because they can just upload that shit, you know, whenever they got new parts of it. Just upload it for free, you know, to the Google Store, or iOS, or Apple Store, whatever they want, you know. And they don't have to spend time and AAA development money on putting it in their games and delaying the big games so that this parts can be added. They can add these parts and features on as they wish as they're completed. So, in that respect, it's kind of a smart move. plot ghosts appear. What the fuck is a plot ghost? I see. Oh shit. Are we talking about the whispers? Okay. I thought you were talking about like plot armor or something like that. Okay. The whispers were there in the beginning of Final Fantasy VII. They just did not show them or anything. They were the cries of the planet. Now, after all these years and looking at their notes and deciding they want to change what things were called or whatever, now they're called the whispers and we can see them in Remake. That's the only difference. But I see, I have heard from people that there are some popular YouTubers that dubbed those things a certain name because they didn't like them and didn't understand what their plot was or what their part was in the story. So instead of trying to understand it, they just named them funny names and a bunch of people ran with it. No, they're the cries of the planet. First Soldier, dude, they'll make a Play Arts Kai of anything. If they can slap $130 on an action figure, they'll do it. Let's not. This is Square Enix we're talking about here. Let's keep it real. If they can make a $35, $40 action figure and slap $130 on it, they're going to do that. And they're all the Ever Crisis characters are going to get their own Play Arts Kai version with all the different gotcha armor and clothing you can buy for. There's going to be like 15 different versions of Aerith, Cloud, Tifa, Barret, everybody, and $130 a pop. Get ready. Get ready. I'm just trying to catch up on some comments here real quick. Huh. Oh, Tom Tarn. I've read that too. That's just some shit some spiteful people made up. That's just some shit some spiteful people made up. That was never... Look, Square Enix... Any game developer, not just Square Enix. I don't think big AAA, big-time major leaguers approach things from that way. Now, you'll get some indie studios and stuff with a chip on their shoulder, whatever, but for the most part, these are professionals, right? Professional storytellers, professional artists, and professional business people who come at it from an aspect of, I want people to enjoy this game. When you make something, ideally, as a creator, your thought is, I want the entire world to enjoy this. So they're not going to make an aspect of the fandom that they're trying to sell this game to a direct mockery of that fandom. That's just some shit some bitter ass people on Twitter made up. So now, best to delete that from your mind. It will serve you well to delete that thought from your mind. Because I love you. That's why I'm giving you the free. That's why I'm giving you the free advice there. Yeah, I play the new plot and basically informational narrative stuff. Will be interesting to see what they do as far as like trying to explain it and try to help people new to it digest it or whatever. Hell, even people that have been playing it for 20 years, help them digest it. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Koyu, is Sephiroth is getting his own storyline, so that's going to be pretty cool. And I like that we're getting good guy Sephiroth. Like, don't get it twisted. He wasn't like, I don't know, but I don't think that the representation of Sephiroth is going to be like he was always twisted from like a child and always had the call of darkness and everything. No, I think he was like a legit good dude. I think he was like a legit good dude who wanted to save people, wanted to help people, and all that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, I think the higher the ground, the harder the fall. I think the better he is, the better a guy he is, seeing him now is going to be even more mortifying because he was such a great guy, you know, and we're going to get to see that. Major ancient implications. I hope so. We need answers on the ancients. What did you think of Sleep Easy's theory video? Which one? I saw Clark talking about how he had put out some fucking 5-hour opus, and I was like, nope. I don't have 5 hours to watch a theory video. And everybody's like, you didn't watch it? I'm like, no, it's 5 hours, dude. I'm gonna watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I mean, it took him a long, I know it took him months to make that video, and I'm sure it's great. But dude, come on, man. I love Sleep Easy. He's a great dude. Me and him have had several behind the scenes conversations on this stuff, to the point to where he was like, maybe we shouldn't talk anymore because, like, I don't want us to affect each other's stuff. I was like, that's probably a good idea. This is back when I was making theory videos all the time. And like I've told you all before, I think all the best theories are out there. That's why I haven't been doing them. Now, when Rebirth comes out, by the end of that game, I'll have a whole new slew of theory videos because there'll be new stuff out there. I have not watched the 5-hour one, no. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's great. He's a great video editing theory guy, but no, I can't. That's too long. If I didn't have anything happening, you know, I'd probably have time to maybe sit down and do a half hour of it a day or something like that. But hey, Zach, what's up? We've been streaming for a bit, about 45 minutes, but no, we're just having general conversation now. But no, yeah, Sleep Easy's awesome. His content is amazing. It's just that one of the things, too, I think, with a lot of theory crafter types, which I don't do a lot of theory videos anymore, like I said, is some people don't like to watch other people's stuff because you don't want, even if they have great ideas, even if they wind up being right, you know. For me, this isn't a matter of being right and wrong and everything, even though when I'm right about something, I'll call it. But it's about having fun and about getting your individual thoughts out there unimpeded by what someone else thinks, because other people will influence you, you know, and you got to be careful with that if you're doing this stuff. So that's why I don't watch a lot of that stuff. Oh yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, Deltasm. Now, I do think that cloud is going to be, like I've said many times. I've done several videos on it. Like, I do think that cloud should be the final boss of Rebirth. Like, I think you should have to fight the term I dubbed called Reunion Cloud. You should have to fight Reunion Cloud as the final boss of Rebirth. But we'll see. Right? We'll see. As in all things. But yeah, that's a fun theory, Tom. Yeah, you all know what I think, though. I'm almost certain. And again, if you believe a certain thing, you can look at the same thing that 5 different people look at, and all those 5 different people be like, "See, that proves my thing right there." That's why it's cool what Square Enix is doing right now. It's keeping people guessing. Like, I can look at the same 30 seconds of footage and be like, "See, that proves what I think," and then 5 other people can be like, "No, that proves what I think." You know, so it's hard to write something that way that everybody looks at and does that with. So that's really cool that they've done that. And at the end of the day, we just all have to wait and see. So, Mark, that would be interesting because that would only be, a week or 2 out from Tokyo Game Show. Tokyo Game Show is like the 20-something, like the 3rd week of September, I think. So yeah, that would be interesting if Sony wants to do a state of play, because this is pretty much like a Sony project at this, but not a Sony project, but it's pretty much remake is pretty much only coming out on what, PlayStation, and I think is remake is on PC now, right? So yeah, it's pretty much exclusive to Sony, pretty much exclusive to PlayStation at this point. So that would be cool if they did that. That would be a fun little pop-up kind of show to do. Well, they hyped 16 for a while. And that's the thing again when it comes to the marketing stuff. Like I said in my live stream the other night, I'm going to be talking a lot more about the marketing side of things here on the channel because that's what I do. But yeah, like with Final Fantasy 16, they really felt like they had to go hard on the marketing to get people psyched and excited for it, to slowly spill out to them what their vision for this thing was going to be. And to get people on board with it, they part of it was then banking on the 14 crowd just showing up for it. And a lot of them did, but all of them didn't. Because a lot of the 14 crowd is people that just didn't want to play Warcraft anymore. So there's that. And then the other part is they know they don't have to go hard on the remake stuff. They were banking on social media people and YouTube people, and I'm a very, very small YouTuber. I'm not talking about me, but big YouTubers like Max Dude and other people like that, they were banking on those people giving them the free publicity and the free marketing, which is why it's really cool, this whole marketing strategy around the remake saga, what they did with it. The most beloved, greatest game of all time, and they do this, and then they flip it on turn it on its head and get people talking about it, get people excited about it. You get thousands of reaction videos, you get thousands of theory videos, you get all kinds of free marketing. So they know people are going to be lining up whenever this game comes out, whether it's December or whether it's April or whatever. They know people are going to be lining up. So they don't have to go hard on it right now, but they are going to put a few things out there. So it's been brilliant. Even at their live events, like for certain things, they've had like YouTubers out there, social media influencers, all that kind of stuff. That's the new marketing game. It's not buying commercials. It's not making trailers. It's getting people with hundreds of thousands to millions of subscribers, bringing them into the fold, letting them play the stuff, and letting them go on their channels and talk about it. That's the new marketing. So that's why they haven't had to put a lot out right now. So, but also too, it's a bit of a snake eating its tail kind of thing, because when there isn't a lot of stuff coming out, people don't make content for this stuff. And then there are people who only make content for Final Fantasy VII because it gets a lot of views and makes them a lot of money. There are those people too. You know what I mean? And their channels are dry for content when there's not commercials coming out, not trailers being made, not all this other kind of stuff. So it's a real messy swamp when you get into the weeds of what people are thinking by the different marketing actions and things they take. So it's a lot of weeds in that swamp. A lot of people have gone missing in that swamp. We'll put it that way. Mark, I would love to see gameplay. Well, we've already seen gameplay. We haven't seen a gameplay trailer, but we've seen what the gameplay looks like in that last trailer. They weren't talking about it on screen, but there was UI, there was in-battle stuff, there were in-battle cutscenes, there was them traversing the world map. I mean, yeah, it had a lot. I'm ready to see a deep dive on what all the special features of this game are going to be. I want to see the map. I want to see all that other kind of stuff. I want to know how fast travel is going to work. Yeah, that I thought that's what you were talking about. But yeah, that would be cool. I'm ready to see, like, show off one of the early first bosses. Dude, show off the Midgar Zolom battle. You know what I mean? That would be a great one to show. Because that is absolutely going to be a boss fight now. That will absolutely be a boss fight now. Oh, I think the whole cast of characters will be present by the end of Remake. I think all of your playable characters have to be in there midway through the game. Otherwise, it's hard to want to use them in battle if you only get them for the third game when you've been learning all these other characters the whole time, you know? And the third game is endgame for the story, so... Not much. Not much. It's just everybody does that. International trailers for movies, video game trailers. I mean, even trailers for like upcoming TV shows, whether you see the thing in Canada, South America, or the United States. It just depends on... There are main points, like there are main keys that you want to hit when you're putting together a trailer. And then there are tweens and stuff like that. It's kind of not like animation, but it's the same concept when you're putting together trailers and stuff like that. There's your main shots and your supplemental shots. And a lot of times your supplemental shots get switched in and out. So depending on what the people putting together are feeling. So I don't really put a lot into that. You know, there's been times in the past with just Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Remake stuff where people are like, well, the Japanese trailer's a little bit different. Did you see that? And it's like, it winds up just being absolutely nothing. Just something to talk about. So, the battle system is going to be the star of the show in this game, I'm pretty sure. Because we're going to have the full cast of characters midway through this game, hopefully. And there's going to be such like a plethora of different ways to play the game. At this point, it's going to be so much fun. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like when they're approaching and like the sun's going down. And dude, day and night cycles. Nobody's talking about day and night cycles. We should absolutely be excited about that because I think there's going to be... I think you're going to get hunts. I think you're going to have other kind of stuff like that. You're going to be able to hunt for some monsters that only come out at night. You know, things like that. Go to the woods at night or whatever, you know. Because, yeah, that shot of Junon, the sun's going down. It's dusk. I thought that was great. I'm sorry to hear that, Justin. Yeah, like it's a bear. It's a bear, man. But you gotta suck it up and rock. Last summer, like my content dropped off so hard because I physically couldn't do anything besides work and take a shower, eat, and sleep like the whole time. Nah, I don't think they'll do a love story thing with Sephiroth. Um, I don't know. He just doesn't seem like that kind of character. He's not like a romantic character. He's a noble, like a white knight who falls into darkness, basically. You know. But I don't know. I think if they do a love story with Sephiroth, it's gonna be shoehorned and come off as fan service, and I just don't really feel like that needs to happen. Oh yeah, like I think, especially if they introduce triple techs, can you imagine the sick ass triple tech between like Sid, Vincent, and Yuffie, or like a Cloud, Vincent, and Barrett? There's numerous possibilities with that. That's really cool to think about. And Tifa, she's crazy powerful anyway. Like she was probably the funnest character to fight with in Remake. Because her abilities are so broken, like Star Shower, and I think there was another one I can't remember, but they were just so fucking broken. Like you could just mollywop like any boss in the game with that. There was a couple of playthroughs where once I got Tifa in the Sephiroth fight, I just used Tifa like exclusively and just like rained down on him. Yeah, Jedi. It's a fine line they're going to have to walk, because you could make the argument that this whole project is fan service. You could make that argument, right? I'm happy with what they've done with it so far, but I don't want them to make decisions just in the vein of making fans happy. I want them to tell their story. I don't want them to do stuff to just make fans happy. I want them to tell their story. Pre-orders are live on their store now. But is there a date? Like, Best Buy didn't have a date. Like, you could put pre-orders up for stuff and be like, date announced later. But just because pre-orders are going up, that doesn't mean that it's coming out anytime soon. Again, I'm just trying to be the voice of reason. I hope it comes out. I wish it were coming out next week. But, I just don't think that is the case right now. So people, be careful getting excited when people start dropping these pre-orders, because they could put a pre-order up now and it's not coming out till like June of next year. That's not happening, but that could. So, but also, it stands to reason too that they're, from a business standpoint, they're getting a jump. They're getting a head start. They're making sure everything is ready so that if, let's say, Sony does do the State of Play next week, or in a few weeks we get Tokyo Game Show, and they're like, when the trailer drops the date, it says pre-orders available today. Well, all these stores, like, sites aren't crashing and just don't work or whatever. They're probably going up right now for testing. They're probably making sure the testing, because a pre-order and release date announcement is incoming. That's why they're doing that. So, right. I forgot about that, Jedi. Yeah, people had Remake on available for pre-order. I think, was it like 6 or 8 months after that? After the big news drop at that E3, it was like something like 6 to 9 months after that. I remember people were like, "I just pre-ordered Final Fantasy VII Remake." And I was like, "What? Is it already?" And then no, it didn't come out until 4 years later. But yeah. I do remember that now that you mentioned that. I didn't do it, but yeah, that's pretty funny. So yeah, there's case in point. There's an example right there, they could put a pre-order up for the third Final Fantasy VII Remake Saga game next week. Be like, release date 2027. Could happen. Now, I don't think the third remake game is going to take that long to get out. I think we could be looking at that game in 2026, maybe even 2025. If they've constructed the whole world and all the assets and everything that needs to run on PS5, and everything is a go, character design, and you just have to go in and write your scenario and set your, go in and program in your actions and reactions and all that other kind of stuff. It's possible this game could be out in 2025, people. The end of 2025, beginning of 2026. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. Well, it's been fun, people. I gotta bounce off here. I gotta get back to work on my stuff. But I wanted to come on and talk about that real quick. Like I said, I was trying to edit together a video about it, and then I was like, let's just go live. So appreciate everybody that came live. We will be back on probably Friday night. I think I'm going to start Sea of Stars on Friday night. So anyway, it's just sitting on my system. I can't get to it right now, but I will. And anyway, hop off here. You have a great night. Be safe. Be good to each other. Keep rocking. Have a great rest of your day. And I will always give it to you all straight. I'll always tell you all the truth. And next time some truth needs to be dropped, I will be on here to help you out. So until then, y'all take it easy, and I will see you later.